Good afternoon. My name is Roberto Aguilar, and this is my capstone study on physical education teaching styles. Before we dive into the actual research, I want to take a minute to introduce Maslow's spectrum of teaching styles that ranges from teacher-centered themes, starting from the command, all the way to student-centered themes, such as self-teaching. These teaching styles give us the opportunity to guide students through each physical education class, objective, and skills ranging from the way a teacher teaches them and the student's opportunity to learn by themselves. The reason that I chose this specific topic was because I started noticing that many physical education teachers are starting to have a difficult time teaching the learning domains. They're starting to have difficulty in having student participate and be motivated toward each lesson, and student retainment of skills, lessons, and many learning opportunities. The purpose of this specific study is to explore the impact of many teaching styles and of the physical, cognitive, and affective learning domains. The three questions that were asked were: what perceptions do students perceive from the effectiveness of teaching styles? How do the teaching styles influence student perception based on the cognitive learning domain? And how do teaching styles influence the perceptions of students' view of effective learning domains in physical education? One of the articles used viewed the student perception on physical education. On the article, Elementary Age Students' Perceptions Regarding Physical Appropriate Instructional Practices in Physical Education, it showed the purpose of this study was to view the student knowledge of physical education and their knowledge on the curriculum and much more. The particular students and participants were 2,479 elementary students ranging from 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade from 14 elementary schools around the Southern Plains. The procedures and methods used for this particular study were questionnaires of 40 questions based on skills in 5 areas of instructional practices, ranging from curriculum, learning, objectives, and many skills. The results showed that many students preferred to be led in activities and psychomotor activities and many different sports where they pick teams. This also showed that many students have been exposed to inappropriate teachings from their teachers and physical education teachers. This particular study is applicable to my research, in which I choose to see what are the views of physical education students based on their current physical education classes and much more. But most importantly, to see their view on how we can influence the opportunity for them to learn physical education and many more skills. Another article used for this particular research was teacher perception of teaching styles. Physical education students, teachers today, experiences and perceptions of teaching styles show the opportunity to view the teachers and the student teachers that are starting to get into the profession, but also their experiences with the teaching styles of their own. The participants were 288 PE student teachers, ranging from first year undergrads through 3rd and 4th year undergrads, and in the credential programs. For this particular study, questionnaires were used and filled out by these student teachers that showed how would they handle particular objectives, particular teaching styles, and use them in their own way. The results show that many PE students, teachers, would rather use the command, the practice, and the guided discovery teaching styles, whereas the reciprocal task and learning initiated teaching styles were less used due to not being experienced in them. The application of this particular study goes within my research to show that the teaching spectrum can provide a better opportunities for the students, but as well as a learning opportunity for many teachers. Many teachers are starting to have difficulty due to them being comfortable being the only ones teaching, but not giving the students the opportunity to teach themselves, therefore lacking motivation and participation for many of the students. The last article chosen was based on the influences of the learning domains. In this particular study, we view the influence of domain specificity and motivation and physical education. The purpose of this particular research was to view the relations of task value, perceived autonomy, and self-achievement goal. This particular research allowed us to see the students' opportunity of being taught in the cognitive domain and many other teaching styles through physical education and another subject such as mathematics. The participants for this particular study were 273 7th and 8th grade students based on 103 girls and 170 boys. The procedure for this particular study was the embedded figure test using the paper and pencil and the throwing and catching criterion, which was used for physical education. The results show that the study demonstrated a similar and small partial relationship between matching teaching styles and the cognitive domain through physical education and, of course, mathematics, showing that many students will often participate if given the opportunity to learn the cognitive domain in an opportunity where they can learn for themselves. The application of this particular article will be used and can be used to guide the researchers to view how students are influenced by the learning domains if applied with the appropriate teaching style that will help them develop more. Now, the methodology used for my particular study was the procedure starting from contacting two principals. Unfortunately, due to COVID-19, we were not able to get a hold of one principal, therefore only using one school in this particular study. And for that certain school, we contacted the teachers of all the students involved. We also sent parent guardian consent letters and of course a consent letter of the student on their own. The researchers performed 4 physical education classes on physical education days and also a survey that was involved. The participants were 28 students ranging from 4th and 5th grade from ages 9 through 11, and the students have to be from a particular school and the program in which they are involved. The method used was a mixed method ranging from mean and the open-ended questions from the surveys. The interview guide used was a physical education teaching style survey that had 4 parts: 8 demographic questions, 6 open-ended questions, and 8 Likert scale questions, as well as 4 teaching lessons, 1 particularly on teaching styles on its own, and 3 different lessons based from cognitive and affective, the command, reciprocal task, and guided discovery. The results shown from this, one, we saw that many students had more than 3 involvements within sports and have had more than 5 coaches while being taught in these activities. 21 students show that they like physical education, while 7 didn't like physical education in a particular way. Students were unaware that there were any teaching methods that were involved within their classes that can help them better be involved within classes. Many of them were often motivated due to the particular games, the team games, the workouts, and many psychomotor skills in which they can practice on their own. Students also understood and were able to identify every single teaching style when seeing it and performing on it within the lesson. The cognitive domain showed that many students were comfortable with guided discovery, but they were not really influenced with reciprocal task and command. The affective domain showed that many students were comfortable with the guided discovery and reciprocal task, but were not well taught and influenced with the command style, therefore causing less participation. Some discussions that come from this are a few. Students were unaware of teaching methods and enjoyed PE for playtime, showing a similarity to what Christensen and Barney showed when they said that students were unaware of teaching methods and were only there because they liked the activities and the games in which they like to be involved. Now, one theory showed that when there are less games, students are less likely to participate because they either know how to play the game or aren't taught in a way in which they can be challenged. Students were able to determine each teaching style when used, but were mainly comfortable with a couple, such as guided discovery through the cognitive learning, and were less motivated and comfortable with command and reciprocal teaching. This showed, such as similar to Moran and Julia, that although students know how to be commanded and know how to receive explanations, they are less likely to participate if they're only being taught through command to command and reciprocal teachings. This also showed a high understanding and comfort with effective teaching. Many students were not really taught through effective teaching, meaning that after this research, they finally understood what effective learning meant. Once they understood what effective learning meant, many of the students were highly motivated and comfortable participating in these lessons, and at the same time were comfortable with participating for the other objectives, which were the cognitive domains as well. Similar to what Christensen and Barney said when they said that learning domains, especially effective, is one of the important aspects, but less used by teachers today. Students were comfortable and participated more with guided discovery and reciprocal with the affective domain. Now, with this particular issue, it shows that many students, again, like to be participative in the affective learning, but cannot take a command learning, similar to what Shannon, McCutcheon, and Martin showed, which says this study exactly shows that domain specificity is necessary for students' motivation. Some recommendations and implications that come from with this certain study show this, that many physical education teachers can benefit from this so they can fully apply these teaching styles and learning criteria into their own lessons, objectives, and curriculums. This will give them a better understanding of how they can fully engage with the students, how to fully have them participate and be motivated to come to PE. This will also allow them to find it easier so that they can create lessons on their own. Another aspect in which can be benefited from this particular study is school administrators. When school administrators know exactly how students are participating, how well they're motivated within each lesson, within each class in their school, they are more likely to fund those particular programs due to the program having a high influence for the students. With a high influence from the students, the school becomes greater within the classroom walls and much more. This also gives a great implementations towards curriculum. Curriculum needs to be created furthermore so that many teachers across the country within physical education can find their opportunities to fully develop themselves as teachers when learning and knowing how to place teaching styles within their curriculum. Some limitations that came from this particular study was the uneven numbers of students from both grades. As taught by Morena and Julia, they stated that many fourth grade students are still in a task of their own in which they still like to be taught, whereas some fifth grade students like to try on their own. In this particular study, we saw that as well. Many of the fourth grade students had the trouble with certain skills, so wanted to be commanded when it came down to guided discovery. And many fifth grade students also showed that they wanted to try it on their own because they felt they already know how to participate, especially when there are high numbers of students who have had multiple coaches and have been in multiple teams. Another limitation that also came from this was the number of teaching styles used within each lesson. Now, every teaching lesson chosen within this research ranged from one teacher-centered, one student-centered, and one in the middle. If there were opportunities to use more than 3 teaching styles, we would more often or likely see what is the difference between certain teaching styles that each student can use and benefit from, so that we can truly see if this can fully affect teachers and student learning. Lastly, some future research that can come from this. Some research ranging from the grade levels being taught in a certain teaching perception can help many educators know exactly what specific teaching styles can be implemented towards each lesson, each objective, and towards their curriculum. When they know exactly which ones can go in which specific objective, it'll be easier for them to create the activities and the lesson for the days. Another one that can better be implemented is viewing the relations between teacher and student, teaching styles and activities. Because when students know exactly what they're being taught, they'll more likely be involved. When teachers know exactly what they're teaching, they will most likely have the students be involved. So this can help out any teachers or students view the relation between the teaching styles and activities, which can further enhance physical education, student learning opportunities, but increase the profession of physical education for all. And these are my references, ranging from Barney all the way down, A through Z. And I want to take a moment to give some acknowledgement and special thanks to all the professors from APU for all their knowledge and for all their patience and support. Thank you, Dr. Tanis, Professor Angela Robles, Professor Jana Sanchez, and Dr. Andrew Elstadt. I want to give a special thanks to my mother and my father, my brothers and sisters, for all their support, for Leonora Dominguez, Artemio Aguilar, Stephanie Laureano, and many more from my bottom of my heart. I want to take a time to also thank my former teachers and instructors, which helped me along this journey, ranging from Dr. Michael Ernst, Ms. Lucia Campos, Ms. Roya Perdon, and Anna Leonard. And I also want to take this opportunity to thank my girlfriend, my partner, the love of my life, for all her entire support and disposition within this graduate journey, and much, much more. So thank you to Brenda Esmeralda Sanchez. Overall, guys, thank you very much. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for all the memories. We will see you in December in the graduation. So have a wonderful night. God bless you all in your future endeavors, and God bless.